Okay, let's see. Okay, all right. And good morning, everybody. Thanks again for listening. My name is Nelson Brown, and I am with the Beauty and Us Radio. I want to apologize to you guys. Again, I want to say sorry to you guys because I am an absolute mess this morning. I was supposed to start at 10 o'clock, but I ran behind schedule. I was trying to get some things situated, and some things just, fell out of place, and time ran away from me. But I want to thank you all again for listening to this broadcast. I want to thank you guys for giving me another opportunity to present this platform to you all so that we can talk about the issues that matter from a young Black male's perspective. Now, I wanted to hop on here for about 30 minutes or so. It's probably going to be extended because I started a few minutes later, but I wanted to hop on here to just do a recap of the Tuesday show. I know that some people were not able to listen to the second portion of the broadcast because of technical difficulties. So I wanted to hop on here again to just recap what I discussed on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, about Black fathers. I highlighted Black fathers, and in particular, I was showcasing a book for you guys to read that I've read. I've actually read it in an audiobook format, and it's called Let Love Have the Last Word by rapper and entertainer and philanthropist Common. And it has a lot to do with self-love, fatherhood, family, Christian principles and values, and just different components that make up from a male's perspective, what it means to be a husband, a devoted husband, and a devoted father. It definitely highlights the beauty in all of that. And what Common shares in this book is really, really, it definitely inspired me, and it changed my perspective on things. So I encourage you all to log on to Amazon and to purchase the copy of that book. I read it as an ebook earlier this year before the pandemic hit, and I really enjoyed it. But on the other hand, I did speak about issues involving, this past Tuesday, I shared some stats with you guys about the trends that are related to fatherhood, or, Black families without fathers. And I shared a little bit about my experience, feeling fatherless and feeling like I had no father figure growing up, even though I did have male role models that I trusted or that I looked up to. I still felt that void, and I still had that emptiness inside of me. So I wanted to do a recap of that. And I wanted to just share with you guys some of the things that I've been sharing in the Beauty in Us, in my book series. The Beauty in Us Radio is going to highlight that. Hi, Taylor. Thanks again for joining. This is my show, The Beauty in Us Radio. We're doing a recap of Tuesday's show because a lot of people weren't able to hear the second half of the show. So this is the second half of the show. So it definitely put things in perspective for me, reading his book and just thinking about things from a different standpoint. I did share some stats with you guys about trends involving, Black men and fatherhood. And I did have my guest, but technical difficulties came up and I wasn't able to have him on, but I do want to reschedule that for another show. But The Beauty in Us, Our Reality is the first book that I wrote in my book series back in August of 2018, in the summer of 2018. And it talked a lot about a lot of my issues and a lot of my insecurities growing up on a personal note. On a professional note, in the book, I highlight all of my, not just things that I've achieved, but my journey, all of the pretty moments, all of the brightest moments, and even some of the darkest moments. And I attribute a lot of that to feeling like I had no father or father figure to turn to. I did have coaches, I did have educators, I did have people in place that represented father figures, but I still felt that emptiness inside. And my broadcast on Tuesday I shared a lot about some of the things I went through. I did attribute a lot of that to that. If for those of you who don't know, I struggled with weight issues growing up, and I still do. Um, and I attribute my problems with food to the fact that um, I felt lonely. I felt abandoned by my father and even father figures afterwards that I trusted, and the father figures that I felt as though weren't really supportive the way I wanted them to be. So I attribute a lot of that in the first book to how I grew up and how I felt. A lot of people saw me as, the student that got good grades, the student that, made the honor roll, that had perfect attendance all throughout his duration of school. But that didn't change my perspective on things on a personal note, because a lot of people couldn't see the insecurities that I had because I was doing so well in my professional life. I was a scholar, A's and B's, like I said, honor roll. I had perfect attendance. I was always active in school. I was always the shy and quiet type, but a lot of people didn't see the fact that well, I wouldn't say that they couldn't see it, but it was really difficult for them to understand that, I struggled with a lot of things internally. I felt insecure about my physical appearance, and I still do all the time. And I'm in therapy now. I'm back in therapy. I went to therapy in high school, but I'm back in therapy again because I feel as though there are still issues under the surface that need to be resolved and that need to be handled, because I'm stepping out into the real world now, and I want more. And that includes later on down the line, probably like 10 years from now or more, depending on how things work and how God plans it. I definitely do want marriage and children, but where the problem lies is that just the fear of not being a good father and not being a good husband and abandoning my children the way my father abandoned me. That's my biggest fear now moving forward. And if you guys don't know who I am, or if you don't know me, you know that, well, you should know that I'm a perfectionist. I like things in order, but it does not, I set expectations and I set goals and I have standards, but it's really, really difficult for me to make adjustments when things don't go well. It's really, really difficult for me not to have structure and not to stay organized in some form or another. But it works against me, and it does not work in my favor, because sometimes, situations happen, things happen, and you have to be flexible. And so I still have a difficulty with that. And the biggest reason why I'm a perfectionist is because I feel as though, well, I kind of, in a sense, felt obligated to be a perfectionist because my father abandoned me, and I felt as though I had to overcompensate because of the fact that he was not present. I always felt as though I had to put in more work and do extra things and to work extra harder in order to earn the things that I wanted to have. And that worked against me. I mean, it got to the point where I was just suicidal in high school. In the beginning of high school, it was really, really difficult for me to just be myself. I always felt pressured to be perfect. And grew up, I was conditioned to believe that it was not okay not to be perfect. And that if you were not perfect, and if you were not the star student, or if you didn't get straight A's, or if you did not get a 5.0 GPA, grade average, or if you did not take 180 courses, I was taught that you didn't matter, or you weren't as valuable as the others. And it just, and that hurt for a long time. But it definitely did put things in perspective. But I'm still working through a lot of the issues that I have. Not feeling good enough. The fact that my father was absent, it made me feel as though I was worthless and that I didn't have a purpose anywhere. And like I said, that's my biggest fear when it comes to the thought later on down the line, about marriage and children, because I want to be a great dad and I want to be a great husband, but there are parts of me that still fear that, because I don't want it to end up like him. I don't want to make a mistake and just I don't want my kids feeling the way I feel about the situation involving my father. And so that's my biggest fear. And growing up, as you guys know, my mom was a single mom. I talk about her in book 1, volume 1 of The Beauty in Us, Our Reality, and I even talk a little bit about boy moms. I celebrate boy moms in the second edition of my book series, The Beauty in Us, Vulnerable Masculinity, which is a book of poetry. Both of those books are available on Amazon in paperback and ebook format. So head on over to Amazon to purchase your copies. And I have a third and fourth book that are being released. Both books are being released, and on my birthday, May 14th next year, and later on in September of next year. So I'll have 4 books available by the end of next year, around this time next year. So please make sure that you purchase your copies. But like I said, not having a supportive father, having an absent father, feeling abandoned, feeling that sense of worthlessness is, and just that rejection, a form of rejection, is something that almost every single child goes through when they have an absent parent, and in my case, an absent father. So that's why I'm so hard on myself, and that's why I don't really think that I gave myself permission to make mistakes and to just be myself and to just pick myself back up. So it's something that I struggle with. And again, I'm in therapy, learning about how to cope with everything, because I stress myself out all the time. I spread myself thin all the time. And it's because I am so eager to do well. And it's because of that fear of failure, and that fear of being a disappointment is something that I always had. But I definitely want to say that it's just having an absent father or having an absent parent in general, and in my case, an absent father. It's something that you learn how to move past and you learn how to move forward from, but it's something that you never get over. Oftentimes people tell me, well, God removed him from your life for a reason. You need to move past it. You have much more in store. He just wasn't meant to be there. But they don't understand the impact that has on my self-image, on a child's self-image, in the sense where they feel wrong, or they feel like they're wrong, or they feel like they don't belong because of an absent parent. And in my case, and in several cases, think about all of the men that grew up without fathers around the world. Think about the impact that has on their self-esteem, their level of self-worth, their self-image, their self-concept. I just want you guys to think about that for a second. And it's just something that I'm really struggling with. And I don't hate anybody. I never hated anybody, and I never will. But I can be quite honest with you and transparent that when I was younger, I was involved in a lot of sports. I was really, really active. My childhood was awesome. I played baseball. I played football. I did gymnastics. I played soccer. I went to camps. I was involved in clubs. I went to summer institutes. But what was missing, my mom was there, but what was missing was the fact that, my father wasn't there. Or some male figures did show up, but it wasn't the same. It didn't replace the absence of my father. And when I would see all of my other peers with their dads, when they would participate in events, or other sons with their dads, as they participated in events, they had donuts for dads, growing up. And when I would see, their sons with their dads, other sons, my peers with their dads, I can be quite honest. I was really jealous. I was jealous about the fact that, I wanted that relationship with my father, and I felt like I was robbed of that opportunity. And that having an absent father and feeling abandoned and feeling worthless and holding on to that bitterness and resentment is the reason why I felt like for a long time I didn't deserve to have a family of my own, because I never knew what it looked like. I never knew how to go about it. I had no prototype or no model and nothing to show me. So it's just something that I just felt like I just didn't deserve. And at first I was like, okay, marriage and children, that's later on down the line. I don't have to worry about that. I'm set on my career. I know what I want. I'm going to move forward. It's not going to be a problem. I'll be okay with no marriage, no children. I thought that for a long time. But now, since I'm older and since I want more, that's where the problem lies, because now, I'm comparing everything to that negative experience and those negative feelings and those emotions that keep creeping up. So I definitely, I'm definitely asking for prayer and understanding from all of my listeners, all of you guys who are listening to this, all of you guys who may have gone through this, or people who have gone through the similar situations, or even if you yourself have gone through that. I just encourage you guys to just pray for me. Pray for the individuals that are in my situation or have a similar circumstance where they just feel like they don't know where to go. They don't know how to move forward. They feel like they don't have a place anywhere. That feeling of rejection from your parents is something that is the most hurtful. I mean, you can accept rejection from strangers. That's like water under the bridge. It may not bother you as much. But when you're rejected from your parents, when that feeling of abandonment and when that rejection sits in, it makes you feel like you just want to fall to pieces. And I felt like I just wanted to fall to pieces all the time. And people, and a lot of people don't understand that. But again, I encourage you guys to just listen in. I'm going to extend this time, and I'm going to go a little longer because, again, I apologize for being a few minutes late for the recap show from this week. I was trying to get things together this morning, but now I'm on track. And I definitely encourage you guys to just sit and listen a little longer. I just want to think about it. If we think about having a great support system and having people in your corner, when we think about all of the success we have, if we think about all of the things that we've done in our lives, the things that we've accomplished, us being able to make progress, we tend to lean on people. We want that support system. Everybody yearns for that love and that support system. Everybody wants to feel important. Everybody, nobody wants to have that feeling of abandonment and that rejection. And I think that your parents supporting you in all of your endeavors, even if they don't agree with everything you do or with everything you say, I think that just having that great support system keeps you grounded. And I'm really thankful and appreciative of the fact that, my mom has been supportive and understanding with everything that I've done and everything I've accomplished, not just personally, but professionally. But, and I'm also really grateful of the fact that she understands why I'm back in therapy, and she's supporting me 100%. We've had conversations about some of the things that I've already shared with you guys on Tuesday, and a little bit of what I shared, at the beginning of the hour, about, that feeling of abandonment and just still holding that bitterness and that resentment towards my father because of his absence and not feeling loved at all. Is something that it takes me back a lot. But I know that one day I'm going to move past it and grow and learn from it. But it's really difficult for me to simply forgive and move forward because of how genuine I am. A lot of people don't understand how genuine I am until they really get to know me. A lot of people just think that, I'm this perfect guy, or that I'm all that in a bag of chips, and I'm intelligent, and that I can do anything, and that I can hold everything together and act like nothing bothers me. But things do bother me, and having an absent father and not being able to trust most men is something that I struggle with as well. I don't have a lot of, and I've shared this with my mom, and I've shared this a little bit about what I'm about to say to you guys on Tuesday, but I don't have a lot of male friends. I have very few, as a matter of fact. The majority of my friends were, are, and have been females because I find it easier. There have been many there have been many times where I've placed my trust and my beliefs in some males or male figures or elders or people that I've trusted, that have let me down or that have, in a sense, made me feel worthless because of how I chose to carry myself, because of what I value. So it's just really difficult. It puts me in a really, really tough space I because I do want to make friends, and it makes it more difficult for me to make friends and to um, just have to just bond and to have healthy relationships, because I'm always fearful of the fact that I'm going to get backstabbed, or that people are going to turn on me, or people are only affiliating with me or aligning themselves with me because of my status or because of the things that I have or because of what I'm doing. And then on the other hand, people don't like what I'm doing. People don't want to see me succeed, and they don't want me to prosper. And so they try to say things or do things to try to jeopardize what I'm doing. So that's what I'm always fearful of. And I've always been myself. Growing up, I was always Nelson. I didn't think about impressing anybody. I was always just focused on being the best person that I could be. But again, that's the reason why I don't have a lot of male friends, because it was really, really difficult for me to trust males in the past, mentors, elders, some elders, that have let me down, or some of the elders or mentors or even coaches made me feel like I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't, quote unquote, manly enough or masculine enough to grow into the man I was supposed to become. So that's why it's just easier for me to get along with females. I have more female friends than male friends because of that, because of the lack of trust I have with other male figures and with other male role models. I don't put my faith and my trust in a lot of males. And that's been the case for a long time, but I guess this is my first time actually bringing this to the table and acknowledging this. But there are so many little boys that feel the same way that I feel. And truth be told, I'm just a broken little boy, just like many boys around the world, many young Black men around the world. But I think it's really important for us to discuss this amongst our family members and our friends and our the people that we work with, so that we can all work together as a village in order to combat this issue. I mean, just think about it. A lot of people like to stick their heads in the sand when we have conversations like this. And people always try to, especially men in particular, men always try to act like nothing bothers them. They always try to pretend like, things didn't happen, or that, they didn't feel any type of way about it, but it hurts. Rejection from your parents, especially in my case with an absent father as a son, hurts. It tears you to pieces and it eats away at you. And you try to circumvent the issue and you try to overcompensate in other ways. And I know that a lot of people, because they don't know how to cope with all of the negative feelings or negative emotions that come with the abandonment, the rejection, the resentment, the bitterness. A lot of people don't know how to handle that. They don't know how to cope with that. So they turn to drugs or to alcoholism. Some of them become promiscuous, and they just do different things because they want to feel accepted, and they do that to numb the pain and the anguish away. And so that I say all that to say that we just have to do better, as a community. We have to address these issues. We can't prance around these issues, and we can't continue to stick our heads in the sand when it comes to doing what's best for our children, doing what's best for our young people. because this is our future. This is our community. These are our elders. These are our children. These are our community centers. These are our churches. These are our schools. These are our neighborhoods. So I just encourage you guys to just think about that, and to just consider the fact that it's just it's an issue that we can talk about all day. But I only have a few more minutes left before I log off. But I just want to encourage you guys to just log on to Amazon, head on over to Amazon to purchase both copies of my books, The Beauty in Us, Our Reality, which is the first edition, the first volume of the book in my book series, and within my book publishing business, and the second book, The Beauty in Us, Vulnerable Masculinity, which is a book of poetry that talks about the struggles and even celebrates manhood. I learned a lot between writing the first book and writing the second book, and with even writing books 3 and 4 now, about everything that I've been through ever since the coronavirus pandemic has started. The feeling of isolation, the feeling of loneliness, being depressed, not turning to my destructive habits in regards to my issues with food. All of that stuff I've been writing my heart out about. All of that stuff I've been jotting down on my notebook paper, digging deeper into the word, trying to grow in my relationship with God, and trying to grow and be a better person. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And that's the only person I've ever wanted to be, was my best version of me. And I'm still learning about how to love myself unconditionally, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the professional side of me and the personal side of me. Because, I'm already there. I feel like I'm already there professionally, because I know how to work hard. I know how to get the job done. I'm very marketable. I am open and willing to learn and to listen and to adapt to situations in the workplace and in my career. But personally, I just feel like I'm still a disaster. I've been able to unpack some things in my first time during therapy back in high school. I was able to resolve some issues, but I feel like there are still issues that are not resolved yet. And the exercises and the methods that my therapist and I have been working together with, I think that they're really beneficial. So I can't wait to see my unlimited potential in my personal life the same way I do in my professional life. I see the potential in my professional life, but I don't view it the same in my personal life. And as far as my looks are concerned, I would love to get to the point where I'm not insecure about my physical appearance. I want to get to the point where I just embrace it with open arms and not tear myself down. So it's just, these are just some things to consider. And like I said before, this was not supposed to be a long broadcast. I just wanted to highlight some of the things that I discussed in terms of Black fathers and Black families, and how the absence of a father, my father, how that contributed to the reason why I had such low self-esteem, and why I still have low self-esteem, and why I felt like, and sometimes still feel like, I don't deserve to have a family of my own because I don't know what it looks like. It's never been presented to me. I've never had a model. The absence of a father, in the sense where I feel like I just feel like I don't have a place anywhere. So these are some of the things that I struggle with, and I'm still working towards resolving in therapy. So I thank you guys for listening, and I thank you for taking your time out to just listen to what I have shared on this platform for you guys. And like I said, the Beauty in Us Radio, it's not just a show, it's a platform, and it's a community where we can all lay our issues out on the table. And in particular, young Black men can have a voice on the stories that matter and the things that matter. So again, join me next week. Next week, we are going to be having another guest. Our guest is going to be the Honorable Baltimore City Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark. She is going to discuss her career, her retirement, and the ways in which young people can get involved into the field of public service. So I look forward to that. I want to thank you guys again for listening. I encourage you guys to just live your best life, have fun, and to enjoy your weekend. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. So make an appointment to meet me back here at 6 p.m. Tuesday, October 13th, sharp. And see you later.